Good day, welcome to the top 5 foam shoe video. If you are new to the Crocszilla channel, please consider subscribing. Your support, your subscription helps keep me motivated in moving forward with these videos and continuing my efforts in this direction with the channel. I use all of my own money and resources to produce these videos and purchase these shoes, so it can be rather taxing on me financially. So I'm not asking for money, but if you enjoy my content or this video, please consider subscribing. That will help keep the channel evolving and moving forward in hopes that one day I'll reach a point to where the channel becomes self-sufficient and I'm able to either get some sort of sponsorship or advertisements or something going, you know, but that will never happen unless we get the subscriber count up. So I just passed 1,000 subscribers, which I am extremely happy and excited about. The channel feels real. Yeah, enough rambling. On to the top 5 foam shoe video. All right, I want to start the video with the worst foam shoe that is on the market. And that will be Kanye's slippers, the Yeezy slippers, the Mickey Mouse shoes. These, I don't know what the logic was behind these, if they were just trying to create the most basic, inexpensive, unrefined foam shoe ever created, but that's what they achieved with these. And in turn, these are the worst foam shoe that I have tried so far. Not only are they ugly, they have very little ergonomic support to them, and the sizing is terrible. These run about a size and a half too large. I ordered a 12, and these, I actually took the dimensions of these, and they are basically a 13 and a half in US sizing. So you will notice that sizing is one of my main factors of judging these shoes on the list. So it really, that could be the single sole element that makes or breaks a foam shoe, is the sizing. So with all of these faults with this shoe, with this foam shoe, it makes it the worst foam shoe I have tried so far to date. So, swing and a miss. And I've got the slippers too on order also, and I of course made the mistake of ordering them in a 12 again, so I imagine they will be large. But you never know. Sometimes they get the sizing figured out, so I don't want to go and like downsize for the slipper 2, which might fit differently than the slipper 1. But so we've got a slipper 2 coming in the future, so stay tuned for that. And then there was another foam shoe that he had on the maybe it was just the slides, maybe it was the Yeezy slides. The slipper 2 and the Yeezy slides we got coming. But all right, so the worst foam shoe goes to the Yeezy slippers. Congratulations, Kanye. All right. And that leads us into what I am going to say is our, what do you call it? The the runner-up, the honorary mention, and that goes to the Yeezy foam runners. So, and the reason these are not higher on the list, because I had them higher at one point in time, but as the dust settled, I concluded that the sizing is my main discrepancy with this design. So I felt that they are doing some kind of renovative, or not, some revolutionary things with this foam shoe, which is why I still wanted to have it on the list. In terms of the aesthetics and the design of the foam runner, they kind of set the bar. Yeezy set the bar with what a foam shoe could be and still be acceptable. A lot of people are very polarized with the design of the foam runners, but a lot of people love them. And I appreciate how abstracted this footwear is, and they really established the kind of the freedom of design with a foam shoe, that you can really create almost anything with this material with foam. So I appreciate these with that in mind, that they really kind of showed everybody like the possibilities, you know, that you can do with these productions and the material. And also the comfort. These are an extremely comfortable foam shoe. They have very nice ergonomic support to the footbed. The ventilation is so-so. I'm not huge on the bulbous front, but this has been a very identifying feature of the foam runner that I see copied in other designs. So I appreciate the foam runners for that, for really kind of showing everybody that you can do a whole lot more with this material, and footwear can be something abstract. It doesn't have to be what is expected. So cheers to the foam runner. So I own 2 pairs of foam runners. These are in a 12, and then I got the gray pair in a 13. We can pull those out real quick also. So the Cinder, they ran small. My toes, the way the toe box is tapered on these, my end toes are getting pressure on the side. So I went up, because I like the design, I went up to the 13 with the grays, which fit my foot better. But look how much larger these look. I mean, I know these were criticized because of the rounded toe, but they fit better. But the issue that I ran into with the 13s then is this came up too high, and I had friction on my ankle bone, and it caused rubbing issues. So, excuse me. So that's my main knock with the foam runners, is the sizing. One size was too small and the other size was too big, so I don't wear them. They're both brand new. There's no wear on these. There's no dirt on these. I think I've taken them both out once for the initial review, but beyond that, I haven't worn these. So I can't put them higher on the list if it's a design that I can't wear because of the sizing. You know, it doesn't matter how cool these are looking. I literally intentionally bought these to put them out for display just because of how cool these look. But they sit in the box because I can't wear them. I really appreciate the marbling too that they established with this foam shoe, because that's something that you see repeated in other foam shoes now, is the marbling. I feel like they established that with the foam runners, so they get high marks for that. And they are the honorary runner-up on the top 5 list. Had the sizing been different, you know, if they went more with like a half size, or if these were just, even if the toe box wasn't tapered on this one, if it had the rounded toe that the gray pair has, I wouldn't have the pressure over here with my other toes, and I would wear these. But sadly, that's not the case. So that is the main detractor from the foam runners for me, is the sizing. But they're still a really cool shoe, and I appreciate them. So, on to the top 5. And number 5, where are they? Here they are. Number 5 goes to our friends over at Crocs and Mr. Salehi Bembury with the Pollex. So, I appreciate these too for the aesthetics and what they were doing with this material. This is another design that shows you the possibilities of foam, and that foam footwear can be funky and can be kind of abstract and crazy looking. I love the way these look. I love the aesthetics. I like the ventilation holes, how they're still jiving with the overall design with this line motif going on. I really like the rubber inlay. This was the first pair of foam shoes that I purchased that had a rubber inlay. We have it on the toe, and we also have it on the outsole. And this outsole is fantastic. This is the distinct Pollex thumbprint outsole, which you see repeated on many other Salehi Bembury Croc designs, like the Saru, one of my favorite summer clogs. And then we've got the junipers. I'm going to wear these today. I'm going to the Renaissance Fest with some family members. I'm going to wear these today, but you can see that they've also got the thumbprint outsole. It's just really cool. These leave such a cool footprint. And then just recently I picked up the Cypress boot, which also, these are fantastic as well. These are really funky, but they've also got the thumbprint outsole. And look how aggressive it is on this boot. It's fantastic. Look at that heel. That is so cool. So I really appreciate what Crocs and Salehi Bembury have added and contributed to the foam shoe realm. So just aesthetics alone, these are fantastic. But these also have a very nice wide fit to them, to the footbed. They're very nice and wide. My only complaint with these is they are a little flat-footed. I wish the midsole was just a little thicker. It still feels quite substantial in hand, but when you get them on foot, it just feels a little flat-footed, and there's not a whole lot of arch support. It's adequate, but it just leaves a little to be desired. Otherwise, I would probably wear these a little more than I do, but I'm a huge fan of these. These are really cool. And these also have some sizing issues. These run quite large. I think it's recommended to go down in size if you're looking at getting the Pollex. So I typically wear a size 12, and I went down to a size 11 with the Pollex, and also the Saru, those yellow ones I went down to 11 with. And they fit fine in the down size. So that is one knock against these. But these are really nice. I like the rubber inlay too. There's just a good design. It's a good foam shoe. So these take the number 5 spot. The Salehi Bembury X Crocs Pollex. So I kind of like the neutral gray too, but I wish, and I probably will get another colorway of these in the future. When they pop out again with some different color options. I almost got the Mantis, but the Mantis was really close to the gray, so I didn't. All right, on to, and we're cooking. I like the progress so far of this video. On to number 4, and that goes to the Merrell Next Gen HydroMoc 1 TRL. So these are an advanced, elevated version of the original HydroMoc, which is not very good. I really don't wear these. I picked these up before I started the channel, the initial HydroMocs, because I thought they looked really cool, and they're very akin to the Pollex. They've got some similar design components between them, like this full backing to it, and then still having the strap to kind of secure the backing. But relative to the Pollex, these are rather flat-footed. They don't have a whole lot of support with the midsole. So these don't get worn either. I think I've worn these maybe once or twice, but other than that, they've sat on the shelf. So Merrell has, over the time period, developed the HydroMoc into what it is now, and this is the latest iteration, the next gen 1 TRL. And I like it because you can still see they've got some elements that hark back to the original design, because they've since secured the backing a little more, but they still have some of the design elements of the original strap, which is kind of cool. I like that. But what makes this better than the initial HydroMoc is they have added a really nice beefy midsole to it. So they took what was one of my main complaints with the HydroMoc, and they addressed it, and they added a nice midsole which has very good ergonomic support to it. I had these at number 5. These were actually going to be the runner-up. But I've been wearing them a little more lately, and I appreciate the ergonomic support that these provide. So aside from having a nice supportive midsole to it, and a little more squish going on. They also have an entire rubber inlay for the outsole, which basically makes these a laceless shoe. So, and that was part of my argument initially to kind of knock these off the list, is that are these still a foam shoe with all of this extra element going on, you know, with the midsole and the outsole? Are they still a foam shoe, or are they something different? Have they developed into like more of a hybrid foam shoe that is in between like a textile shoe and a foam shoe by having not only the midsole but also the outsole to it? So like, at what point does a foam shoe become a standard shoe? You know, like if we put laces in it, is it still a foam shoe just because it has an EVA upper? These were the questions I was asking myself regarding the 1TRL, but I set all of that aside and I just settled on the fact that these are good and they're foam, they're EVA, and they're laceless. So we won't hold them any lower just because they're doing more, just because they've got a midsole and an outsole. You know, I think they're still, as long as there's no laces and as long as it's still primarily an EVA construction, I think they still classify as a foam shoe. But like, with that in mind, I had half thought about putting the Junipers on because these aren't too far off from those 1TRLs. But they've got laces and they've got this this textile upper. So to me, that is the line that was crossed, and why these aren't on the list is because they have laces. So once you get into the realm of laces, regardless of the construction and the foam and the EVA, these in my mind have become a textile shoe. So they are not on the list. But these 1TRLs are. So this is a very good option if you're looking for a foam shoe that is a little more supportive, that is a little more akin to like a normal shoe, that will provide a little more support with the footbed and a little more traction with the outsole. So these are a pretty solid choice. I would like some different color options. I don't mind this kind of spray paint look with the white, but it would be cool if they had some more vibrant options like the initial HydroMoc that I showed you. That's partly why I bought these, is because they look pretty cool. It's kind of got like a toucan Sam vibe going on with them, and I like that. Or like a Superman ice cream vibe with the red and the yellow and the blue mixing. So give me some more vibrancy options with the 1TRL. And they might be higher on the list next time. You never know. But I think that's all I have to say about these. So that's number 4. All right, we are cooking. On to number 3. And these are getting a little dirty. I've been wearing them a little bit too. And number 3 goes to the Kane Revives. I'm a big fan of these. Again, the sizing is a challenge with them. It seems to be a common denominator with foam shoes, is sizing. So this is the 3rd Revive that I have purchased so far due to sizing discrepancies. I initially got them in the... There, I can show you too. I still have them. I have a gentleman that wishes to purchase these when I list them on eBay, which I will do in the future. But I initially bought the, I initially bought the Revive in the 24/7 Hunt collab, which I really liked. And I was really sad that these didn't fit properly. Because when I finally figured it out and did the review, they were sold out in the size up. But that's fine in the end, because I like these better. I like the colors on the Timmy Hams. And also too, these are 11, these are a 13. So even had I ordered these in a 12, they still would have been too small. So I guess it all worked out in the end, because I wanted a little more vibrancy anyways. So those were provided with the Timmy Ham collabs. They're just cool looking. I really like this, his paintings, his semi-abstract paintings. So check out the review on these if you're into semi-abstract painting. I kind of go into depth in one of his paintings. We kind of dissect it and see what what spatial elements he's incorporating and abstracting in his artwork and stuff. So, but these are a really good design. Again, the main issue I had with the sizing on these is the tapered toe. Just like the foam runners, these have a tapered toe, and my toe box is a little wide, so I was getting pressure on the outside of the shoe here, even in the 12s. So that's why we ended up with the 13s. 13s fit fantastically. I really don't have any heel slip going on with them. They fit fine. So I recommend going up in size if you were looking at getting the Revives. These are also a very supportive shoe, foam shoe. They've got a very nice supportive midsole to it, as you can see. It's the EVA is the outsole also. They don't have a rubber inlay like the 1TRLs. But these are really comfy. They have these little nodes on the bottom, which is part of their argument of them being recovery, is these little nodes are supposed to stimulate blood flow. You can kind of feel them when you're barefoot, but if you got socks on, they're too subtle. I don't really feel it. But one of the main things that I like about the Kane Revive is that they are essentially a 350 Boost made foam. So they are carrying almost identical aesthetics from the 350 Boost and the same kind of profile to the shoe, which I really like. I really like the design of the 350s. So the fact that these Revives are essentially a foam 350, like that increases the value to me for these, because these are a very expensive shoe. These run over $200. I think they retail for $230, and you can find them a little cheaper on StockX, but after all the processing fees, they're still coming in around retail. I like what they're doing with the knit upper on these and the different patterns within the weave. Like, to me, that's just as cool as this Timmy hand wrap. So I really appreciate these. These run small though too. That's one of the ironies between the two designs, is these are too small for me. But we will revisit the 350s in the future, because I may or may not have gotten another pair. But I digress. So that is one of the design features that I really like about the Revives is they're basically a foam 350 Boost. So these have really good ventilation on them too. I initially thought they looked like a wiffle ball, but all of those holes, they're not as prominent on this Timmy Ham wrap because the wrap is so vibrant. You don't really see all of the holes and stuff. But yeah, these are a good design. Very simple and straightforward. Very comfortable, very supportive. They just run a little small. So I think that's everything we have to say about the Kane Revives. These are very good. All right, on to number 2. We are cooking, man. We are cooking. I was afraid this video was going to be an hour long, but so far so good. All right. Ooh, I almost grabbed the wrong ones. Oh no, these are the right ones. All right, number 2 goes to the Nike React Rejuvenate, and I've got another one of these too. Let me pull them up. They're right up top here. So this is the oh, what color is this? All right, so this is the Midnight Navy. This blue, this phthalo blue transition. This is the Midnight Navy colorway, which was initially shown, it was kind of leaked in photos. I think it was during the Olympics or something. LeBron James was shown wearing these, and it really kind of gave it some hype. They just came out with this colorway not long ago. I picked these up over the summer. But that's my second pair, as I initially got them in this orange. So these are a really good shoe. The sizing has changed though from when these were initially released to now with these the newer colorways. The sizing has changed a little bit, but that doesn't take away with the quality of these shoes. These are probably the sportiest foam shoe that I've tried so far. They're quite comfortable and they hold onto the foot quite well. It really locks in the heel. But there's good support also with the midsole. And one of the good things about the Rejuvenate shoe is the foam, this React X foam. I would say that is probably one of the best factors with this foam shoe is the quality of the foam. And that's one of the reasons why the slide version of this shoe wasn't well received, is because they tweaked the foam a little bit. They got away from the squish. So even though these are a very sporty foam shoe, they've got the recovery element going on with how soft and squishy the foam is. And I did a comparison between these and the Light Blaze Moc, which were initially on the top 5 list, but I knocked them off because they weren't good until I modified them. So in my mind, that's too much of a factor to keep them within the top 5, because had I not modified them, they wouldn't be even probably in the top 10. But the fact that I did modify them and custom fit them to my foot, they're really, really good now, but I can't allow that to be an inherent element of the shoe, because that's not how they come when you purchase them. But anyways, so what was I saying? Okay, I regained my train of thought. So I was going to say that when I did the comparison video between these and the Light Blaze Mocs, I argued that these weren't ever marketed as a recovery shoe, but I think it's implied with the name. Rejuvenate. To rejuvenate is to recover. So I correct myself. I think these were and are marketed as a recovery shoe, but they are a very sporty recovery shoe at that. So they've kind of got the best of both worlds going on. They are soft and squishy and kind of therapeutic on foot, but they're also very sporty, and you can probably run in these. These give a very cleat vibe. These make me think of like soccer cleats. So just within their aesthetics, they're a very sporty design. They have a very nice opening on the top, the way it kind of holds onto the foot and locks into the foot, but it's still very easy to get on and off with this heel. You can kind of just slide in and out very well. But yeah, these are just a good design, good all-round design foam shoe. They have adequate ventilation in the toes. I have worn these barefoot in the summer too, and they're not bad. They're a little sweaty, but they're still comfy. They still work. But I did notice that the sizing has changed since the old oranges. So, but it's close enough that I don't have any like differences in recommendation as far as the sizing goes. These do fit half size smaller though than these do, but these are more true to Nike's actual sizing, where these are a little big for like what Nike 12s are. So I get it why they tweak the sizing a little bit, but yeah, these are a good foam shoe. I like the style, I like the comfort, I like the function, I like this rubber outsole that they added to it. So that's a happy balance to me. When you've got a softer foam, but then you add a little bit of a rubber outsole to it so that the foam doesn't deteriorate, because that is a factor. But we will talk about that with our next one. And I think that's everything I have to say about these, so we can use this as a transition into the next foam shoe, which is my number 1 pick, and the foam shoe that I wear the most. I think that's everything I have to say about the React Rejuvenates. These are good, I recommend them. And these will probably fit most people's feet, whereas my number 1 pick might be a little too aggressive for some as far as the arch goes. But this is a very neutral fit. So for probably the majority of people, this will be their number 1 foam shoe. But for me, this is only number 2. And my number 1 foam shoe, which I wear the most, and I recommend, and I really like what they're doing, which we will go into, is the Skechers, the Go Foam, the Arch Fit Go Foam. So this is my #1 foam shoe. I wear these more than any other foam shoe or any other shoe for that matter. This time of the year, they have very adequate ventilation on the top, so these do not get hot. I have been wearing these barefoot too. I remember having conversations with viewers in the past of whether or not I wore these barefoot, and I initially did not. But I have since been wearing them barefoot during the hotter summer months, and they're fine barefoot. So this Go Foam is fantastic. It has a very nice kind of squish going on to it, and especially in the forefoot. Like, I wear these when I go on the motorcycle too. It's starting to get too cold. The ventilation when I'm riding comes in these, or the air comes in the ventilation holes because they're beveled, and they get a little too chilled. So it's September now, so we're starting to get into the cooler months for me to be wearing these on the motorcycle. But I would throw these on foot after work in the mornings and ride home, and just the squish in the forefoot. Like, one of the things that makes these better than the Rejuvenates is they have a thicker midsole all the way through. The Rejuvenates have a little thicker of a heel, but then it gets a little thinner up at the forefoot, where these still stay nice and thick at the forefoot, and it has a noticeable, it makes me think of like this pool of foam on the forefoot. Just when I change into these out of my steel toe boots and I'm walking on the concrete floor, that pool of foam in the forefoot is such a nice.
Go foam. When the steel toes come up, the go will go up. They're in my locker running heavy. This is what I've been wearing too on my motorcycle commutes home. It's the Go Foam. Probably not the safest choice for a motorcycle ride, but it is the most comfortable, that's for sure.
Squish sensation. I really enjoy it. These have a very prominent arch support to them, which is also good, but it can also be a little much sometimes. With some foam shoes, when you first put them on, they can be a little firm, and then as the foam warms up, your foot sinks into them and they fit a little better. I get that with the arch on these. It is a little prominent sometimes when I initially put them on, especially after work, and my feet are a little swollen and tender from being standing for 12 hours. So, but after, 10-15 minutes of them on foot, that arch starts to warm up and it softens a little bit, and then it is supportive of where it needs to be. And then the heel is very squishy as well. So this just has a really nice footbed to it, really nice foam to it, really nice ventilation. I like the mouth of the ankle. When I first ordered these, when they first came, they had a very rigid cardboard insert that locked in and kept the mouth open. And I understood why after a short period of time of wearing them. This foam is so soft that once you start wearing them, they start to kind of shrink and contour and shape to your foot. It's almost like the electric shoe from Back to the Future when they hit the button and it just kind of like shrunk down to your foot. The foam does that naturally with these shoes. It is so soft of a foam that after a short period of wear, this top upper will kind of shrink down and meet your foot of where it needs to be. So these were initially a little sloppy in the heel when I first got them, but that went away after a short period of time of them being custom fit, just with the retraction that naturally occurs with the EVA when they get soft like this. So I love that for these. But also too, they did a good job with the top part here, and they're doing something differently here by having this component. It allows for a pivot to occur in the shoe without your heel sliding out. So we can look at the foam runners as an example of having more of a V-neck opening here with the ankle. These aren't as bad as like the Mocs. Where are they? Here they are. The Light Blaze Mocs. The V-neck on these is too much, and I get a lot of heel slip coming out. So this is an area that is approached differently with different shoe designers of how they choose to do this top part. And I like what Skechers did with their shoe. So instead of having an open V, they have it kind of lifted out a little bit and then reinforced. So this is a very sturdy component of the shoe. And instead of allowing the heel slip to occur with the V-neck, there's just a pivot, a natural pivot that occurs. These still flex though, and the pivot isn't entirely necessary, where it is with some other firmer foam shoes that don't have a flex in the midsole. They need a pivot to happen so that you can walk in them. These allow that pivot to occur, but still keeping the foot in the shoe. I don't get heel slip, but there's still a nice pivot that occurs with the way that they did this top part. So it's just I don't know if I communicated that very well, but this area up here is something that, like I mentioned, is it's tackled differently with different designers. The Rejuvenates did a good job too, because you can see how they kind of did a similar thing. Instead of just having it open like the Light Blaze. See, the Light Blaze is so flat, it doesn't really come up right there, but they just have it open instead. Nike kind of did a good halfway balance where they still have it opened a little bit, but they just brought it up a little bit too. So you still have a little bit of a rolling happening as you walk in these, but it stays contained. So Skechers is doing that with their design too. Your foot's still staying contained in the shoe, and it's allowing for a little bit of a roll to happen. So I probably just spent way too much time on that, but it's a good variable and one that I notice is different between all of these designs. So I like the way that Skechers approached this. I don't know if, like, aesthetically this part is as good as it could be. These little dimples, I don't know. It gives a different vibe than the rest of the shoe. Though they do have them down here again though too. But one of the things that I like about this shoe and why I feel semi-comfortable wearing these on the motorcycle is these are almost like a foam hike gear. These are almost like a foam high top. They just feel a little more substantial in their form than, let's say, the Rejuvenates. Whereas I was comparing these to a cleat, these feel almost like a foam hiking shoe or a foam hiking boot. And I really like that. And I think that will probably be the next evolution with the foam footwear is let's start making some hiking shoes, some foam hikers. Why haven't we done that yet? I think that should be the next evolution of the foam footwear world is to start making some more substantial options like a hiking shoe or some high tops even, you know? And I feel like they're kind of leaning in that direction with this Go Foam. So they're doing a lot more with this design that the other companies aren't doing yet. I feel like they're kind of ahead of the curve with this Arch Fit Go Foam design. Just the footbed is fantastic too. So it's not an entire negative. So the foam is so soft on these. It's at the level of wear, of natural wear and degradation that Crocs are on. So if you've ever owned a pair of Crocs for any length of time, you'll notice that they are a very soft foam that has a kind of a higher rate of wear and tear on them. The outsoles tend to wear out semi-quick with Crocs, but I would rather have that and just need to repurchase them every couple of years instead of making the sacrifice with comfort. when you've got a really soft foam, you've got a lot of comfort, but you also have a higher rate of wear, which is occurring with these Skechers. But that doesn't bother me. That is kind of a reassuring element because it tells me that just like me, as time goes by, things get old and they get worn. And I would rather have the signs of wear and tear occurring with a foam footwear that I'm using regularly than to have them harder but stay more pristine over time and not need to be replaced. Because at that point I won't wear them if they're too hard, you know? And that is why some of the other shoes are lower on the list, is because they're going a little firmer with their foam. Whereas the two on the top, the Rejuvenate and these Arch Fit, these are the softest foam shoes. So there's a spectrum of hardness there with the foam, and I think if you can achieve a softer foam with your footwear, that's one of the reasons why the foam runners are so good too, is they've got a really nice soft foam. If you can achieve that softer foam with your footwear, I think you are doing a good job. Like I said, I would rather have to replace a pair of foam shoes after a couple years because they're wearing out on me than to have them firmer and to last longer. So I just like that that natural decay that occurs with the soft foam. But that might be a detractor for some. They might not want that, but in the conversations I've had with the viewers, which I appreciate you all, thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. People are after the soft. So if you are after the softest foam shoe on the market, these Arch Fits, these Go Foams, the Luxe foam. But like I said before, the footbed might be too aggressive on these for some. So you might want to get the Rejuvenate instead. But if you are an individual who enjoys some arch support and a little more pronounced ergos, you might enjoy this Arch Fit Go Foam. So these are my #1 pick. And I would like to see the foam footwear go in this direction moving forward. Give us some more substantial shoes. Let's kind of get into the hikers, you know? But like I was saying though, I'll ride these on the motorcycle, or ride the motorcycle with these on. And just because I feel a little more confident with these on foot, that they just have a little more material, that's just a little more beefed up, that if I were to take a spill, I'm not just wearing this thin pair of foam shoes. You know, these are a little more chunky, a little more beefy, but they're still the most comfortable. So they just have a lot going on with them that I appreciate. And they're doing the marbling too, which is kind of cool. So these are my #1 pick. So I think that is everything for the top 5 foam shoe review. So thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, please consider subscribing. And yeah, I think that's everything. Here, let me I'll give a little outro. Hopefully I'm in the shot. So yeah, those are my top picks. Like I mentioned, I really liked the Light Blaze mock, and that was initially on the list. But the fact that I had to modify it to fit, I couldn't let that be acceptable, you know, and still be on the top 5. Because at that point, like, I don't know, where's the incentive with these companies to make a better shoe? You know, like, if the customers are gonna tweak them, like, they shouldn't have to. They should be good out of the box. So that's why I kind of knocked the Light Blaze off the list. But those were initially the number 5s. But yeah, I think that's everything. I'm excited to see what the market and the foam shoe industry is going to do in the future. I feel like this is kind of the future of footwear is foam. Just it's grown so much over the past year since I started the channel. It's kind of a cool cool ride to be on. So I'm excited to see what these companies do moving forward with their foam footwear, and just the evolution of their designs and stuff. Like, that's one of the exciting things about the foam shoe world, is the creative freedom that this material brings, along with the comfort and simplicity. So I mean, there's just a lot going on with foam shoes that keep them, I think, exciting and interesting and appreciated. You know, these are some pretty comfy shoes. Had Crocs not been as comfortable as they initially were, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you about foam shoes. I would be doing something different, you know. Not to say that the Crocs saved my life, but they have altered it. They have put me on this path of having this channel. So for what that's worth, you know, I think it's cool. I like them. So I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. All right, take care. Cheers.